Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss third part of first topic, language around us. We are going to discuss about a language from linguistic perspective and understanding its nature and how it is helpful to us where in academic pursuits. So linguistic perspectives on a language help us understand the nature of language. Yes. Linguistic perspectives so it helps us for what purpose to understand the nature of language. So, what is linguistic perspective? So, the meaning of linguistic perspective is syntax, semantics, morphology, phonetics, phonology, and pragmatics. So, these all together comes under linguistic perspective. Means we all study these all things which are related to language. So, that is called as a linguistic perspective. The linguistic analysis can be compared to doctor, describing your body and its functions both in terms of anatomy and physiology. So here, this linguistic analysis we are comparing with what here? Doctor. So why we are comparing? Because a doctor, he studies about what functions of both in terms of anatomy and physiology. So this point further lends to support our argument that language is a living organism. So the same way, linguistic also what they do, they study, they analyze the language. They analyze the language. So that is the reason language is a living organism. So let us spend some time looking at the structure of language and its functions. This process also known as a cartography or mapping language. Yes, we know that we our country is India and it has one shape. So that shape is called as a means one map. The shape is called as a map. And even maps also what in a different manners we draw. If we are stating the means if we are pointing the states, that is called as a political map. Or if we are drawing the landforms, then we call as a physical map. So means our country is mentioned on the map. So the same way the structure of language also mentioned on a paper or in a map. So that study is called as what? Cartography or mapping language. Now, next topic. Linguistic is the science of language analysis. So here, by heading only we understand what is linguistic. Linguistics is the science of language analysis. So it is a scientific analysis and provides a proof for every claim it makes. Yes. So linguistic, what they do, they make the scientific analysis. And through that, what they do, they provide the proof for every claim what they are making. Like in a previous video, we have discussed about that linguistic, they study and they have interaction on what is that on the vocabulary or terms, and they try to find they try to derive the meaning of the words. So their work is what? Analyzing the words, analyzing the language. So it is nothing but scientific analysis. And this helps us in establishing the uniqueness of human language and distinguishing it from the animal communication. And this is done by recognizing certain characteristic features of language and known as a design features. Yes. So this language is what here? The uniqueness of human language is recognized by the certain characteristics. Was coined by whom? C.F. Hocket. This design feature term was coined by a C.F. Hocket and it was many years ago. And let us look at a few these design features and see how they are unique and distinguish our language for the language that animals may use. And first design feature. So first design feature is what? Language is a systematic and exhibits duality of structure. So in this we are going to discuss two topics. So A is what here? Language is a systematic. First one. And the second one is what? Exhibits a duality of structure. Duality means two. Both. So our language has a distinct structure. It has a unique structure, special separate structure, which is recognized as what? Morphology and syntax. So we know that morphology. Morphology means what? Formation of words or word formation. And our study of word formation. And syntax. Syntax is what? Grammar or sentence structure. So it's called as what? Syntax. And this is said to be absent in animal languages. Yes, exactly. We human beings use a language and they have a number of words and they have number of sentences. But this is absent in where? In the animal language. We never find the sentences or words in different terminologies. And every language operates on a set of speech sounds. And these are distinct. Yes. So every language has a different sounds. If you take the example, English is A, B, C we call, but when you come to the Telugu, right? So these are different sounds we use here. And when you come to Arabic, alif, ba, ta, so these we use. So means that these are different set of speech sounds. Here you understand A. So it is called as a. So these sounds we make. But here second one is what so here but second is what here b. So these are set of speech sounds. When you come to the Arabic alif, we call it as a alif. It is also b. This is also ba. Ba is a, and the next one is ta. So these are different sounds they make, and these are distinct, separate from one language to another language. Speech sounds combine with each other and in a specific manner, and this is also unique. Yes, this all combines with each other. So when it is combining, so they make the different sounds again. This is one of the reasons why we are not able to pronounce certain words in a different language which we are not familiar with. Yes. So this is the reason we are unable to pronounce certain words in a different language because we are not familiar with that words or that set of speech sounds. And this combination of speech sounds to form a syllables or words is the first level of structure or design. Yes. Here to try to understand here the combination of speech sounds to form a syllables or words is the first level of structure. So here example, we'll see the example. What is the example? Here we have a B. So B. So here A. So these two sounds, two letters makes the different sounds and together called as a B. So here one syllable is formed. One syllable is formed. So this is what here first level of structure or design. And we have example of sound S and followed by P or K. P sound is a P and K sound is a K. So in Indian language, this combination does not exist. And therefore, some speakers have difficulty in pronouncing words such as special or school. Special or school. So these sounds are very difficult to pronounce because this language is not our language. So that is the reason Indians will face the problem. And second level, first level is what? Syllable sounds. And second level is what? There is a unique way in which words combine to form a sentence. Yes, these all will form a sentence. So example, I am going to school. I am going to school is what here? It's a sentence. So these are all syllables. Syllables are making the sentence. So this is what here? Second level. This combination followed in a set of grammatical rules. Yes, I am going to school has a set of grammatical rule. What is that? A subject and auxiliary verb and going is verb to preposition. School is a noun. So this kind of set of grammatical rules we have. And each language has its own set of rules. And these are normally not shared with other languages. Yes, exactly. So set of rules we understand subject, verb, object is in the we find in English. But in English, Telugu is different. Subject, object, verb will be there. Verb comes at last. So Telugu set of rules is different and English set of rules are different. And in English, simple statement which begins with a noun followed by an auxiliary verb and becomes a question. Yes. When the two words are reversed. Yes, we know. Example, we have you are going to market is a statement and it becomes river when we are reversing these two things are first and you is a second, then what happens? It becomes as a interrogative sentence, question word, question sentence. Are you going to market? So the use of language depends on a mastering both these structure. Yes, you must have a means you must become master of these structures, then you will understand what is interrogative sentence, what is positive sentence. So that is what here mentioned. And this language is said to have a duality of structure. First structure is what here? Forming the syllables or words is called as a first level. This is first level and forming a second sentence is called as a second level. So these two things are called as a duality of structure. First structure is what here? Forming into words. Second structure is forming into sentences. Since this structure need to be adhered to, language is rule bound and it follows that language is a systematic. Yes, we have a rule right here. What is that rule? So subject, verb and object. We have this rules, and nothing but sentence or language is rule bound. And that is the reason we can call it as a language is a systematic, because it is following the set of grammatical rules. So by this we can understand that language is a systematic as well as exhibits the duality of structure. The B is what language is arbitrary. So in a design structure, so we are going to discuss second topic. Language is arbitrary. Now we say just the opposite and state the language is arbitrary and does not follow any systematicity. Yes, in the previous slide we discussed what is that language has a set of grammatical rules and it follows one system. But in this, we are going to discuss that it does not follow any systematicity. So how? So we shall see here. This can be seen in using words to name objects. Yes, we use the words. So we use some words to name objects. The objects around us are the same universally. So example, you take example, we have here water. Water example is what in English we call as the same liquid matter is called as a water. But when you come to Hindi, the same liquid is called what? Pani. But in Telugu, what do we call? Neelu. In Tamil, what we call? Thanni. In Malayalam, Vellam. And Bengali, Jal. Means the thing is, the object is same, but we have a different words to what is that identify them in different languages. So why should we have a different words and different languages to represent the same object is very difficult to determine. Yes, we can't determine how it was named since there is no systematic way in naming things. We say that language is a arbitrary. So language is a arbitrary because we do not know the process how they name. So that is the reason we say that language is not systematic and it is a arbitrary. Where it is a arbitrary for the naming the objects is it is a arbitrary, but following the sentence structure is a systematic. But naming the object is arbitrary. Keep in mind here. And language is creative and extendable. Sir, in this also we are going to discuss about two things. One is the creative and extendable. These are two different features. Yes, creative and extendable. You have read several books in different languages, but we don't find any of sentence repeating themselves or copied from some other sources. Each sentence is new. Exactly. We read number of books. So in the number of pages will be available. The content, sometimes the matter will be same, but the sentences will be different. The vocabulary will be different. Means they never try to use the same sentence here. So it means what they use a creative word. There may be sentences that repeat the ideas, but do not get repeated ad verbatim. So ad verbatim means what? Ad verbatim means using the words same in spoken form, spoken and written form, spoken and written form. If you are using the same word, if you are using the same word, that is called as a ad verbatim. What is that? Ad verbatim means using the same word in the spoken and written form. So this is a but what we do here, we do not follow the ad verbatim. When we speak, we use a different language. When we write, we use a different vocabulary or words. This is inbuilt characteristic features of the language. Hence, we say that all languages are creative. Yes, we use different words. So it means it concludes that languages are creative. They try to find that they try to create a number of words. When you speak, you hardly use the same sentence twice. Exactly. Unless you are quoting somebody. Means if you are quoting somebody's sentences in the same way, then only we use the same sentence. Otherwise, we never use. Creativity also accounts for our ability to express our abstract thoughts in the form of stories or express our imagination. Yes. This creativity also called as a what? Extendable nature of language. Creativity can also be called as a extendable nature of language. And next one is a prevarication. It's very, very important. Think of all the stories that you have read. How many of these could be real? Many of these are products of human imagination and examples of rich creativity. Yes. So we read number of stories. Example, you take the example of Harry Potter. We read the Harry Potter story. So then what happens? Harry Potter, is it real story? Is it could be real? No, not at all. It's a human imaginated story. And it have number of series also, 5 to 6 series. So then what is that? It has a rich creativity also. Not only this, we in English we study about Gulliver Travels. Gulliver Travels is also what here? It's an imaginated story. So these fairy tales such as Alice in Wonderland or our epics are excellent examples of such creativity. We use creativity and we imagine and we write. Certain linguists extend the meaning of creativity and imagination to the point of being able to tell lies. Yes, this is the main important thing here. So human, they what they do, they create and they use their imagination and a point of being able to tell lies. This Harry Potter story we see, it never happens. It imaginated story. So telling lies of feature is called what here? Prevarication. Telling lies of nature is called as a prevarication and unique to human being. So this nature is what unique to human beings. It is claimed it is only human beings who are capable of telling lies. Yes. No one can say that tell the lies because only human know the language and this feature is called as a prevarication. Simple logic. Prevarication means telling lies. And a language exhibits displacements. Yes, that main point here. Language exhibits displacements. What is the meaning of displacement? Moving from the origin place. Keep in mind, displacement means moving from the original place. This is a very unique character of human language. While speaking, it is not necessary that object of discussion is in our presence. Yes, so every time whenever we have a conversation, it doesn't need to have the material thing or person in front of us. In their absence also we can talk. We can talk of things removed from us both in time and space. So here this is the main important thing. Displacement, the conversation can have means where in the absence of time means they can talk of any time. It may be the past, about the future also we can talk. We don't need to be present at the same time. Example we have this. So here we have one example. When I was in school, I was very naughty. Yes. When we try to describe our past, so we use this sentence. So it means what? We don't need to go to the childhood again. So we can express. And about the future, if you're discussing about the future also, so you don't need to be in the future when I get the job. So means you are preparing now. So when you get the job, so that is future. So you can talk about the future also and about our relatives. Yes, our relatives will be in a distant places. They will be far from you and you can talk about them. And sometimes about we can have the discussion of parliamentary debates which are happening at Delhi. Means that is not place. Your relatives also they are not your place and Delhi also not your place. So these even movie heroes and we talk about many things. So which are out of space. So which are out of your space. And this example illustrates the ability of human language to talk about things removed in terms of space and as well as time also. Researchers have found that bees can convey this message in a limited form using their dance called wiggle. Most animals are not capable of this. So in the animals are what is that creatures which is a important one here means the bees are important one. Only the bees can convey this message means they can convey their message to the others. How? By dancing called as a wiggle. Called as a wiggle. But the remaining no creature can express. And the next topic is a language is not inherited and it transmits culture. Yes, here also we are going to discuss about two things. One is the two features. One is inherited and one more is transmits culture. There is a well-known belief that cuckoo bird lays its eggs in a crow's nest. The poor crow warms the eggs and hatches them. Yes. So here important thing keep in mind cuckoo bird. We are discussing about cuckoo bird, but where it is, their eggs are in a crow's nest. And who is hatching here? Crow is hatching, not the cuckoo. Crow is hatching. But the young ones that emerge do not call like a crow. So, what happened here? In a crow's nest, Who was born here? Cuckoo was born. Who was born here? Cuckoo was born, but cuckoo doesn't caw like a crow, but it makes the sound of what? Cuckoo only. It sings like cuckoo. So it means what? Cuckoo's voice is inherited. Cuckoo's voice is inherited. So, in a similar case, if a child born in a particular language community is separated from the parents at birth and brought up in a different language community, the child picks up the language of the environment where he or she was brought up and not that of the biological parents. Yes. So here it is very important thing. So normally what happened, the students or child speaks their parents' language when they born and when they are growing up, they speak the parents' language. But here, what we did here, we separated the child. We separated child from where? From the biological parents, and we have taken to the another environment. We have taken to the another environment where he was brought up. So, but what happens here if they are speaking different language? Then the child picks their language only. The child picks only their language, means different language which is using that community, not the biological parents language. So by this we can understand that language is not inherited. Language is not inherited. If the child is speaking, if he is brought up in another community, even though he is speaking the parents language, then it is inherited. But here not happen the same thing. So we can say that it is not, language is not inherited. This proves that human being though endowed with the capacity to learn a language. Yes, human has a capacity to learn a language, and they do not inherit a specific language but acquire the one they are exposed to. Yes, whatever the conditions or whatever the environment they brought up, so that language only they picks up. And language not inherited, so we discuss. Now next topic is what? It transmits a culture. So it transmits culture. Each language belongs to a specific human society which is also marked by specific cultural practices. India, which is a multilingual society, also exhibits many cultures. Learning a language helps us acquire some of the cultural expression. Yes, and also its practices unconsciously. Exactly. What is happening here? So, the human will learn from others. The culture will be learned from others. So, this is seen in the form of greeting. Example, you take the example of greeting. Somebody is greeting us. So, by seeing them, what we do? We also greet in the same way. So, through this, we understand what is that? Transmitting the culture. If somebody says the namaskar, you say the namaskar. So, here the culture is transmitting. If somebody says, what is that? Adabar say. So then you say the same word. So then somebody says hi or good morning. So through that you understand and you expose the same language. So we exchange when we meet. So we have, sometimes we receive our guest and the marriage practices and concept of formal dress means of the way of dressing and honoring guests at function, funeral rites. So from these all things, what happens? The culture will be transmitted. Cultural aspects are described or realized using a set of specific words unique to the language. The same words in other language do not carry the same impact or purport, but the meanings will be different. Their meanings will be different. So then what happens? They do not carry the same impact or purport or their meaning. So now we have basically discussed five distinct features. So in this, we discussed five topics. Language is a systematic and exhibits a duality of structure, and language is arbitrary. Language is creative and extendable. Language exhibits a displacement. Language is not inherited and it transmits culture. So these are the few samples to show that language is a unique. Yes, language is a unique to human beings. We should also understand that all languages are alike. Yes, all languages are same, and no language is either superior or inferior, because their language carries the same emotion to them. Their words also expresses the same communication. So that is the reason languages are not alike. All languages are alike. Linguistic through its analysis of language behavior help us to develop a tolerance and to other languages and respect them as equal partners in communication. So this is about our topic. Thank you all.